What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning back into another video. We're officially in the off season up here in Idaho. It's getting cold, leaves are falling, and this is the time where we get all the maintenance done on the cars up here. I have a full list of things that we're gonna upgrade on the Nova this off season, and we have some big changes coming. First things first, what we need to do is get this thing pulled outside and get the engine and the transmission pulled out. Because we will no longer have a small block or a turbo 400 in the car. So have something awesome planned. I can't wait to tell you guys about it, but first we need to get this engine and the transmission pulled out. So let's get started on that. All right, everything is cleaned up. Engine and trans are out. This thing is ready to get washed up, probably repainted. Engine and transmission are ready for its new owner. Sounds like this guy's really nice that's buying it here locally in Idaho. Sounds like it's gonna go in an El Camino that he's gonna run on the street. Pump gas, probably. So it's super cool that it's going to a cool owner. We did have one hiccup though. This transmission we're going to take back to Ultimate Transmission and actually put all of the internals in a new case because lack of maintenance, I did not tighten the bell housing bolts all year, and look what it did. These three were loose, with this one actually not even being existent when I took it out, and I think that put all the torque to this side of the transmission and cracked the housing. So kind of a bummer, but luckily Dave's going to take care of us over there, and the guys over at Ultimate Transmission, they have a new case or another Turbo 400 case we're going to throw everything in, and already talked to the new owner, and he is completely fine with that and actually likes the idea of the transmission being gone through before he takes it. So I'm not going to lie, selling the small block is definitely a little bittersweet. That engine was my first ever build. It's the first time ever building an engine, and it went through some iterations for sure, with different fuels and stuff like that, and naturally aspirated, then a supercharger and all that stuff. But man, it did so good for me. And when I originally built it, if you've followed this channel from the beginning, I actually was building that engine for an S10 to run on the street. That's why it was low compression, so I could run pump gas or nitrous or whatever I decided to do. But when I found the Nova in 2020 or 2021, I couldn't pass it up. I sold the S10 and put that engine in the Nova and started bracket racing. I didn't know when I first built the engine that bracket racing is what I would want to do, or really what I'd want to chase. So I did some things along the way, switching to E85 and some different variations to get that thing as consistent as I could get it. But I mean, at the end of the day, that car the last couple of years, or that engine, that combo the last few years was great. Anything cooler than 80, 85 degrees. Any hotter than that, even with E85, that blown combination or having a supercharger on there, the ET would just swing a little bit more throughout the day, like I mentioned. But especially if the track got bad too, that's where I really struggled. That torquey supercharger, along with the turbo 400, that low first gear would just hit the tire too hard, at least for what my car, what my chassis is capable of. And that's where all my inconsistency came from, for the most part, was in the 60 foot. So knowing now that I am going to bracket race this car and it's set up for bracket racing, I'm going to go a big block power glide. That is the most simplify it down, less things to track, and I believe what is going to be the best setup for the Nova. Still gathering some details. Mark Kidd at Kidd Performance is building the engine. It's going to be a 496 big block. It's going to be a stock block with some nice aluminum AFR heads on there. I believe 335cc aluminum heads. It's got a pretty healthy cam in it. It's a 799 lift cam, solid roller. 13-to-1 compression, I believe, is what he's aiming for. So still figuring out all the details on the engine combination, and but he's going to dyno it and everything down there as well. So later this off season, we'll go down there, watch it get dynoed, and go over all the engine details there. But I believe with the Nova's current chassis setup, I believe a big block power glide is going to be the best combination, the most consistent, and obviously it's proven in bracket racing, right? Like, that's the most common setup that you can get. I've been saying it's definitely a more boring combination than what I have, but or what I had before, but it's also boring going out first round in the middle of the summer when the car is being inconsistent. So I'm hoping that this will be the perfect combination of not hitting the tire as hard with a turbo 400. That power glide will let it leave a little bit softer, but also the the big block and more horsepower will carry the ET down track. And not that I'm super worried about what the car runs ET wise, but it is going to be making a little bit more power than what my small block was. So with similar weight, I know that the big block's a little bit heavier, but the power glide's going to be a little bit lighter. So it's probably going to be around the same weight. So I would assume it's going to go a little bit quicker. I'm super excited. This is my first time ever getting like a professional engine built and dynoed and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to see the process and then take you guys along with me for my first time. And yeah, I am super excited to get that thing put in here to see what it's going to sound like. And in the meantime, we just have been tackling some little projects here and there. Big thing that I've been wanting to do is kind of clean up the engine bay a little bit. I really admire my dad's Camaro and how he set the engine bay up. So I've been doing my my best to kind of consolidate some of the wiring, moving these relays inside the cab so there's less wires out here. I may tackle kind of cleaning up the brake line situation that's going on over there. I moved the transmission cooler, actually used to be mounted up front here, that had some wires and all that kind of stuff going to it. I've mounted that underneath the car now. Let's see if you can see it. You can kind of see the bottom of it sitting there. So that cleaned up some wires out of the engine bay. And check this out. Oh, it's when you know you're from Idaho when you got a box of potatoes in your garage. But I've already started getting some things taken care of that will come along with the new transmission. So I got my precision shifter. Went to see Brad over there. They're located out here in Idaho, and he got me all set up with a power glide shifter. We actually used the same shifter and setup, but he put new side plates and linkage and that kind of stuff in there. So that is all ready for a power glide setup now. My carburetor is sent off to ATM currently. They're working on getting that all taken care of. I guess I forgot to mention that because there's been a lot going on, but I got my carburetor sent back to ATM in Bowling Green, and they're taking it from an 850 setup for the small block with a blower to a 950 naturally aspirated. Mark, the engine builder, thought that a 950 would be a perfect size for what I want to do. 1050 would ultimately get me the most power out of the engine, but stepping back to a 950 would choke the engine back just enough to still make great power, but be very consistent. So ATM is currently working on that. I've already sent off and got back my Meziere starter. I sent this off to Dave down there in California. They went through that just to make sure it was all good. Put a new drive core in it, I believe is all that it needed, and they cleaned it all up for me, which was nice. So I got basically a fresh starter ready to go. So yeah, we're kind of just sending parts around the country, gathering parts as Mark builds this engine, and yeah, I'm super excited. Once I hear from Mark, we'll get a plan to go down there and get it dynoed and take you guys along with me. And again, like I said, I'm super excited, super blessed to be able to do this, and I'm excited for 2026. I think this will be it'll be a learning year for sure. I'm gonna stick with the 85, but it'll be a learning curve with a big block and not having any data, but man, it's going to be a fun time. That's what matters. So I appreciate you guys watching. As always, thank you for liking, subscribing, and following along. And until the next one, guys, take it easy. We'll catch you in the next video.